You know, and here I thought Pikachu was gonna be easy. And it kind of is, or at least it's straightforward. This thing starts with a permanent shield, meaning you cannot use status moves against it. Which is exactly why Lurantis is the hero of this battle. We completely got this wrong, but there actually is a very easy and straightforward way of beating it. Contrary to Leaf Storm, Lurantis will blitz through its HP because Contrary will continuously buff its special attack while dealing a super effective move that Lurantis really doesn't fear anything that Pikachu has. And with Sunny Day support from Revavroom as well as Acid Spray, you can destroy the rest of this thing's HP in more or less a single hit. But it does require probably 4 or 5 turns in order to get to that point because of how long it takes. This is not a single turn one shot like any of the previous ones have been. Game Freak's really stepped up their game. The shield only blocks status moves from being used against the Pikachu itself. This doesn't mean that you can't use things like Acid Spray. Moves that have a secondary effect but are offensive moves still have their effect chances to activate. This is why you can use a move like Spirit Break on Grimmsnarl to debuff special attackers despite their shield still being up, but you can't use a move like Eerie Impulse. So Acid Spray, because it does deal damage, it will always bypass that barrier to still drop its defense. And then the final member of this team is actually going to be, well, Lilligant or really any grass type to set up grassy terrain. This isn't really as essential, but it can help with a little bit of damage and a little bit of HP restoration on your part. And after that, it's going to be predominantly heal cheering to keep everyone's health up so you don't lose time. And if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It very much helps the channel. And on to the sets. And for Acid Sprayers, the best one is actually Quagsire. Clodsire also works, however. Before we actually go into the rest of the actual turn order, we're going to go over really what Pikachu has and why this thing is so threatening. This thing is actually quite fast, and despite Pikachu's normal frailty, the shield reduces all damage it receives unless you're terastallized to 20% of its base. So essentially, this thing has 5 times the normal health of a Terra Raid boss. Which, given that these are 30 times HP, this is essentially a 150 times HP booster on Pikachu. Its offensive stats may look pretty poor, 55 and 50, however, the Light Ball is always held by these Pikachu, meaning its special and physical attacks are up to the level of more or less Regigigas. We've all seen what Azumarill can do with huge power, and Azumarill's attack stat is actually the same as Pikachu's special attack, and its physical attack is actually a little bit higher than Azumarill's, and both of those stats are being doubled. Plus, it will automatically set Rain and Surf immediately on the setup of the battle. As for Pikachu's moves, Surf, Thunder, Play Rough, and Iron Tail. These are very threatening when paired up with that Light Ball. Thunder and Surf will damage most things for pretty solid damage, again, because Light Ball is doubling its stats. Whereas Play Rough and Iron Tail are not as threatening, especially if you use a Water-type support like Quagsire. It isn't going to be too threatening as they can pretty much chunk anything it can throw at it. But the important part is making sure the Grass-type Lurantis is capable of surviving those first few turns. So now, the simplified turn order is turn 1, Lurantis is going to use Leaf Storm. Contrary will activate after using Leaf Storm, double boosting your special attack stat, with the Revavroom using Sunny Day. Again, this eliminates the Sun, nerfing Surf, and making Thunder only hit half the time rather than a guaranteed hit. The Quagsire or Clodsire is going to be using Acid Spray, and then your Grass type will be using Grassy Terrain. For the second turn, Lurantis is still going to be using Leaf Storm. However, the Revavroom is now going to switch over to use Acid Spray itself. Your other Acid Sprayer is still going to be using Acid Spray, and the Pokemon that set up Grassy Terrain is now going to be instead doing the Healing Cheer. Because by this point, it will have taken some damage from the Pikachu, and you need to make sure the Lurantis stays alive. You could alternatively have Pollen Puff on this Pokemon in order to give directly health to the Lurantis. However, the Heal Cheer is just more beneficial in that it gives everyone health, as well as capable of cleansing a paralysis if something did manage to get paralyzed by Thunder Spam. For the third turn, you're actually going to repeat the same thing over again. However, the fourth turn is where things are a little bit different. This is when you switch over to Solar Beam. Because Sunny Day is activated, you're not going to need a turn of Charge Up. This is a reliable hit, and if you are capable of terastallizing as quick as possible, you'll be able to terastallize this turn and blast straight through Pikachu. Because the bonus damage you do to terastallized shields when you're terastallized, and the super effective hit, -6 special defense, the +6 to your special attack, you're doubling down a terastallized stab, and the grassy terrain boost, this will completely wipe out the remainder of Pikachu's health. This is pretty much why there really isn't much Pikachu can actually do to you outside of really Iron Tail once the sun is set up. That's one of the reasons why Contrary Lurantis is so useful, even if it manages to connect with an Iron Tail, and even if Iron Tail is capable of dropping your defense, it just boosts your defense in the end. This is also why Revavroom is so useful, as it resists everything that Pikachu can do, physically speaking, and when the Sunny Day is up, it isn't going to be taking much damage from any of Pikachu's other moves, because the Rain is being removed, Surf is going to be weaker, and Thunder only hits half the time. This is also why Quagsire is preferable to Clodsire. It is resistant to Iron Tail, meaning Pikachu will go for Play Rough. Clodsire, for as good of bulk as it has, if it does get defense dropped, Iron Tail will still be hammering it and that damage will still accumulate. Even if you're healing, your defense is still going to be getting lower, and it can overwhelm the healing. But now for the move sets, and also item sets. For, of course, the damage dealer is going to be Lurantis. Its only two moves are going to need to be Solar Beam and Leaf Storm. The nature you're going to give it is modest and have 252 special attacking EVs. The other EVs you can go into HP. Really, they don't matter. For its health item, you can go either Miracle Seed or the Wide Lens to make sure that you're always hitting those Leaf Storms, or Miracle Seed again for increased damage. Personally, I lean Wide Lens. For Revavroom, you're going to want Timid and 252 Speed and 252 HP. Again, Pikachu can use physical moves, but you're going to mostly be worried about the early turn special attacks. You're going to want that speed so you can outrun it, set up Sunny Day, which is the first move you're going to be using, and then after that, Acid Spray. For your other Acid Sprayer, this is the dedicated Acid Sprayer. Again, best option is Quagsire or Clodsire, but anything that is tanky, can survive water and electric moves, and gets Acid Spray access is actually quite good here, but the easiest one accessible are Clodsire and Quagsire. You're going to want to have Water Absorb on those two and have a Bold at 252 HP, 252 defense, and the only move they need is Acid Spray. And then rounding out the team, this is realistically any grass type that gets access to grassy terrain, but I would recommend either Amoonguss or Lilligant, as they have either high speed in Lilligant's case and high bulk in Amoonguss's case. Learn Pollen Puff for direct targeted healing, and can just in general survive hits. But this isn't as important as you're going to be healing for the rest of the battle after you set up grassy terrain. Which is why grassy terrain is really the only move they need, with possibly Pollen Puff. Other grass types, such as Arboleva, can potentially work, however, they're not as effective as Lurantis is. Nothing really possesses the same brute force aggressive power that a +6 Lurantis can. But, yeah, that's all really there is. You can use something like Knockoff to remove the Light Ball. Most of the Pokemon that get this that are fast are actually quite frail, like Meowscarada, and will get destroyed by Play Rough. It can make it more manageable to remove the Light Ball, though this strategy we came up with is supposed to be used even in the case where Light Ball is still present. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It very much helps support the channel. And let's take down these Pokemon Day Pikachu.